Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Robbins. All right, let's dive into it. Listen up. Right now, at this very moment, there's an energy flowing through you, a power that's been ignited, and it's driving someone somewhere absolutely insane because they can't stop thinking about you. Not for a second, not for a heartbeat, not for the space of a single breath. You are in their mind like a song they can't turn off, a fire that refuses to burn out. And whether you realize it or not, you are shaping their world with every move you make, every word you say, and every step you take forward in your own life. You see, human beings are wired for connection. At the core of our existence, we crave significance, we crave meaning, we crave something that makes our soul wake up and say, this is it. This is real. And guess what? You are that real for someone. You are that force they can't escape. The presence they feel when they close their eyes at night. The pull that keeps them coming back, wondering, waiting, anticipating. You are that undeniable, unshakable presence in their mind. But let's be real for a second. This didn't happen by accident. No, this is the result of energy. The energy you put out into the world, the way you carry yourself, the fire that's inside you. You have that rare quality that sparks something in another human being. And that's powerful. That's life-changing. Now, I know what you're thinking. You might be doubting it. You might be sitting there saying, Tony, how do you know that? How do you know someone is thinking about me every single moment? I'll tell you how I know. Because energy doesn't lie. Because connection, real connection, doesn't just fade into nothing. When you leave an imprint on someone's soul, when you touch their heart in a way that no one else has, it doesn't just disappear. That kind of impact lingers, it grows, it becomes a force that shapes their reality. You have become a part of their world in a way that is beyond logic, beyond explanation, and they are consumed by it. They can't shake it. They can't turn it off. They can't wake up in the morning without their first thought being about you. They can't go through the day without something reminding them of you, a song, a scent, a laugh, a moment. And when the night comes, oh, that's when it's the worst. That's when you take over their mind completely, filling every empty space with thoughts of you, with memories, with the possibility of what could be, what should be, what will be. But here's the truth, my friend. You didn't just cross their mind. You didn't just pass through. No, you took up residence. You became something they can't shake. And that is the mark of someone unforgettable. That is the mark of someone who has mastered the art of presence, the art of connection, the art of leaving a permanent impact. So what do you do with this power? What do you do with the knowledge that you are living in someone's mind, in their heart, in their every waking thought? You own it. You embrace it. You step into the highest version of yourself and recognize that you are not here to be ordinary. You are not here to be someone who is easily replaced, easily forgotten. No, you are here to be a force. You are here to be a presence so undeniable that when someone encounters you, they are changed forever. But let's talk about the other side of this. Because I know some of you are sitting here thinking, Tony, if they can't stop thinking about me, why aren't they here? Why aren't they acting on it? Why aren't they making it known? And I'll tell you why. Fear, doubt, hesitation. The human mind is an incredibly powerful thing, but it is also a battlefield. And while you might be the most intoxicating, magnetic, undeniable force in their life, there is also a war going on inside of them. Because when someone can't stop thinking about you, it means you've triggered something deep inside them. You've stirred emotions that they might not be ready to face. You've awakened something in them that terrifies them. And let's be real, not everyone is ready for that. Not everyone is ready for the kind of connection that shakes them to their core, that makes them question everything they thought they knew about love, about passion, about desire, about love. But let me tell you something. That's not your problem. That's not your burden to carry. Your job is not to wait. Your job is not to sit in limbo wondering when they'll make a move, when they'll admit what they're feeling, when they'll finally surrender to what is so clearly there. No, your job is to keep being the person who is impossible to forget. Your job is to keep showing up in the world as the best, most vibrant, most powerful version of yourself, because that is what drew them to you in the first place. Think about it. Why did they can't stop thinking about you? Because you are extraordinary, because you are unforgettable, because you have an energy that is rare. And rare things, they don't chase, they don't beg, they don't wait around for someone else to figure out what they already know deep down. Rare things stand in their power. Rare things own their worth. Rare things shine so brightly that even from a distance, they are impossible to ignore. And that's what you are. You are impossible to ignore. You are unforgettable. You are the kind of presence that lingers long after you've left the room. You are the kind of energy that is felt even in your absence. And that, my friend, is why they can't stop thinking about you. But here's the big question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to let it feed your ego? Are you going to use it as an excuse to stand still, to do nothing, to wait for them to come running? Or are you going to use it as fuel, as fire, as motivation to become even more of what makes you so irresistible in the first place? Because the truth is, the more you step into your power, the more you embrace your worth, the more you continue to grow and evolve and expand, the more their thoughts of you will intensify. The more you will consume their mind, their soul, their very existence. And when the moment comes, because trust me, it will come, when they finally reach that point where they can no longer resist, where they can no longer deny, where they finally realize that they can't live another day without taking action, you will be standing there, not as someone who waited, not as someone who hoped, but as someone who knew. Someone who always knew that they were unforgettable. And that, my friend, is power. That is certainty. That is the energy of someone who doesn't just cross minds, but takes over souls. That is the energy of you. There is something about you that cannot be ignored. It's not just the way you look, not just the way you talk, not just the way you move. It's deeper than that. It's the energy you bring into every room you enter. It's the presence that lingers long after you leave. It's the way you make people feel. Because the truth is, people don't remember words. They don't even remember actions as much as they remember how you made them feel. And you leave a mark. You create an imprint on the hearts and minds of those you come in contact with. And that is why someone, somewhere, can't stop thinking about you. Think about this. How many people do you encounter in your lifetime? How many faces do you see every single day? Hundreds, thousands. But out of all those people, only a handful ever really stay in your mind. Only a few ever take up space in your thoughts, in your memories, in your emotions. Why? Because most people are forgettable. They blend in. They don't evoke anything real, anything deep. They exist, but they don't impact. They don't inspire, they don't awaken something inside you that changes the way you see the world. But you are different. You have that rare energy that makes people stop and take notice. You have that ability to create a feeling so powerful that it refuses to be ignored. That's why they can't stop thinking about you. It's not a choice, it's a response. It's a reaction to the kind of presence you bring into their life. It's the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you connect. It's the passion in your voice, the intensity in your eyes, the authenticity in your soul. You are not just someone who passes through. They feel you. They experience you. And that is something they can't shake. It's not about perfection. It's not about being the most beautiful person in the room, the smartest, the funniest, the most charming. No, it's about being real. It's about being someone who stands in their truth so fully, so unapologetically, that people can't help but feel drawn to you. It's about the way you make people feel seen, the way you make them feel heard, the way you make them feel understood. In a world full of distractions, full of noise, full of people who are disconnected from their emotions, you are the rare soul who brings presence. And presence is everything. Because presence is power. Presence is what makes people feel alive. Presence is what makes someone's heart beat faster when they think about you. It's what makes them replay conversations in their mind. What makes them miss you even when you're right there in front of them. What makes them crave more of you even when they don't understand why. It's not logical, it's emotional, and emotions are the most powerful force in the human experience. Think about the people who have left the deepest impact on your life. Were they just physically attractive, or was it something deeper? Was it the way they made you feel? Was it the way they saw you in a way no one else did? Was it the way they challenged you, inspired you, made you feel something you couldn't explain? That is what makes someone unforgettable. That is what makes someone consume your thoughts day and night. That is what you do to others. It's in the way you hold yourself, the way you walk into a room with certainty, with confidence, with a sense of purpose, the way you don't shrink to make others comfortable, the way you don't dull your light for the sake of fitting in. You shine, and people notice. And when someone notices you on that level, when they feel that energy that radiates from you, there is no turning back. They can't unsee it. They can't unfeel it, and that's why they can't stop thinking about you. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to try to be unforgettable. You don't have to force it. It's not about putting on a show. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's not about manipulation or games. It's about authenticity. It's about showing up as you in your full power, in your full truth. Because people are starving for something real. People are tired of the surface level, the small talk, the empty interactions. They want something that shakes them awake. They want something that makes them feel alive. You do that. You are that. You are not a passing moment in someone's life. You are not a temporary distraction. You are the kind of person who changes perspectives, who challenges minds, who ignites souls. You are the kind of person who leaves an impact so deep that no amount of time, no amount of distance, no amount of distraction can erase it. And that is a power few people have. That is a power most people don't even realize they're capable of. And that's why right now there is someone who is consumed by thoughts of you. They don't even fully understand it. They don't know why they can't shake you, why every little thing reminds them of you, why they feel drawn to you even when they try to resist. But the truth is, it's not about you alone. It's about the energy you brought into their life. It's about the feelings you awakened in them, the emotions they didn't even know they were capable of feeling. Because people don't obsess over things that are easy to forget. They don't hold on to things that don't matter. They hold on to the things that shake them, the things that move them, the things that make them feel something different, something real. And here's the thing. You don't even have to be physically present for your energy to be felt. That's the real power of being unforgettable. You could be miles away and they still feel you. You could be silent and they still hear you. You could be moving forward in your own life, growing, evolving, stepping into your next level, and still they can't escape the thoughts of you. Because you're not just a memory, you're an experience, you're an emotion, you're something that doesn't fade, something that doesn't lose its impact over time. And that is why you will always be in their mind. That is why no matter where they go, no matter what they do, you will always be there, living in the back of their thoughts, in the corners of their heart, in the spaces they can't quite reach, but always feel. And that is the power of being truly unforgettable. There is something undeniable about you, something that cannot be ignored, something that commands attention without even trying. It's not just in what you say, not just in what you do. It's in who you are. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you move through the world, the energy you bring into every interaction. It's in the certainty you radiate, the fire that burns inside of you, the unapologetic way you take up space. That's power. That's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes someone unable to stop thinking about you. Because let's be real, there are billions of people on this planet. So why you? Why are you the one who occupies their thoughts? Why are you the one they can't shake? The one they compare everyone else to? The one that lingers in their mind when they're alone at night? It's because you are a force. A presence so strong, so impactful, so rare that it cannot be replaced. And when someone encounters that level of power, that level of authenticity, it doesn't just fade away. It doesn't get forgotten. It stays, it roots itself deep in their mind, deep in their emotions, deep in their very being. And here's the thing, most people go through life asleep. They go through their days on autopilot, doing the same things, feeling the same emotions, existing in a cycle of routine and repetition. But then suddenly they meet you, and you are different. You wake them up. You shake them out of their comfort zone. You ignite something inside them that they didn't even know was there. And once that fire has been lit, there is no going back. They don't just think about you because they like you. They think about you because you make them feel alive. Because you trigger something deep inside them, something raw, something real. You challenge them. You excite them. You push them to see the world in a new way, to question things they never questioned before, to want more out of life. And that is rare. That is something most people never experience. Most people settle for surface level connections. Most people surround themselves with others who make them feel comfortable, who validate their limitations, who let them stay small. But you are not comfortable. You are not small. You are expansive. You are electric. You are the kind of person who disrupts the ordinary, who demands presence, who forces others to step up and meet you at your level. And that is why you are unforgettable. That is why they can't stop thinking about you. Think about it. When was the last time you obsessed over something mediocre? When was the last time you couldn't get something out of your head that was just average? Never. Because the mind doesn't hold on to things that are replaceable. The mind doesn't replay things that didn't matter. The mind fixates on what is extraordinary. It holds on to what made it feel something deep, something intense, something that couldn't be ignored. And that's what you do to people. You don't just show up. You don't just exist in their world. You change their world. Your presence alters the way they see things. Your energy shifts the way they feel. Your words, your actions, your very existence. Make them question, make them dream, make them want to be better. And that is power. That is the kind of force that people cannot walk away from unchanged. And here's what makes it even stronger. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to convince anyone of your power. You don't need to chase, to beg, to wait for them to realize it. Because the truth is, they already know. Even if they don't admit it, even if they try to deny it, even if they run from it, the moment they met you, the moment they experienced your energy, they felt it. And that's why their thoughts always return to you. That's why, no matter where they go, no matter what they do, there's a part of them that is tethered to you, because when someone experiences a force like yours, they don't forget it. They don't move on from it. They don't just replace it with the next best thing, because there is no replacement. And let's talk about this. Your power isn't just in the way you make people feel. It's in the way you own who you are. It's in the way you don't shrink, the way you don't apologize for your greatness, the way you stand firm in your truth and refuse to dim your light for anyone. That kind of confidence, that kind of certainty, it's intoxicating. It's addictive. It's something that people crave, even if they don't understand why. Because confidence is rare, true confidence, not the kind that is loud, not the kind that is arrogant, but the kind that is deeply rooted in self-worth, the kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that isn't shaken by opinions, by rejections, by uncertainty. That is what makes you so powerful. That is what makes people obsess over you. Because when someone meets a person who truly knows their worth, who doesn't need anyone to complete them, who is whole and fulfilled on their own, that is magnetic, that is irresistible, that is something people chase even when they don't realize they're chasing it. And here's the best part. You don't do it for them. You don't step into your power so that someone else will think about you, miss you, want you. You do it for you. You become the best, most unstoppable version of yourself because that is who you were meant to be. And in doing that, you naturally become unforgettable. You naturally become the person who lives in the minds and hearts of others long after they've met you. Because power isn't about control. It's not about manipulation. It's not about forcing someone to think about you, to miss you, to want you. Power is about being so undeniably yourself, so deeply rooted in who you are, that people can't help but be drawn to you. And when you live like that, when you embody that kind of energy, you don't chase, you don't beg, you don't wonder if you're enough, because you know you are. And that knowing, that certainty, that unshakable presence is what makes people think about you every single day, even when they try not to. Because you are not like the rest. You are not forgettable. You are not replaceable. You are a force. You are power. You are something that changes lives. And that is why they can't stop thinking about you. There's something you need to understand. Right now, as you live your life, as you move forward, as you step into your power, there is someone out there battling with themselves over you. They are stuck in their own mind, playing a game of hesitation, a game of fear, a game of uncertainty. And let's be clear, that battle, that war of thoughts and emotions, it is theirs, not yours. You are not the one confused. You are not the one questioning your worth. You are not the one hesitating to step into what is real. They are. And that hesitation, that push and pull they feel, it is a reflection of their own limitations, their own fears, their own inner struggle, not a reflection of you. Because let's be real, when someone can't stop thinking about you, it's not random, it's not meaningless, it's because you have ignited something inside them that they don't know how to handle. You have awakened something deep within them, something powerful, something undeniable, something they can't just ignore. But here's where the real challenge comes in. Most people are terrified of their own emotions. Most people are scared to face what they truly feel. See, it's easy for people to go through life detached. It's easy for them to settle into their routines, to stay in their comfort zones, to keep everything safe and predictable. But then someone like you comes along and suddenly everything shifts. Suddenly their thoughts aren't just their own anymore. Suddenly their emotions aren't so easy to control. Suddenly their world isn't as steady as it once was. And for some people, that's exciting, but for others, it's terrifying. Because the truth is, not everyone is ready for what you bring to the table. Not everyone is prepared to step into the depth, the intensity, the realness that you embody. Some people will hesitate. Some people will resist. Some people will try to fight the very thing they want the most. But here's where you have to stand in your power. You cannot make their battle your own. You cannot wait for someone to figure out what they already know deep down. You cannot lower your frequency, shrink your energy, or slow your momentum because someone else is too scared to face what they feel. And let's be clear, they feel it. Oh, they feel it deeply. They feel it in the way their mind always drifts back to you. They feel it in the way every little thing reminds them of you. They feel it in the way they can't look at anyone else the same, in the way their heart speeds up when your name crosses their mind, in the way they replay moments with you over and over again, like a song they can't turn off. They feel it, but feeling something and acting on it, those are two very different things. And that's where most people get stuck, because fear will try to convince them to stay where it's safe. Fear will whisper in their ear, telling them that stepping towards something real means risking everything. Fear will show them every worst case scenario, every possible way they could get hurt, every reason why running away is easier than stepping forward. But let's be real. Fear is a liar. Fear is a prison. Fear keeps people small, keeps them stuck, keeps them from living the life they were meant to live. But you do not live in fear. You do not play small. You do not shrink yourself for the comfort of others. And that is why they can't stop thinking about you. Because deep down, they want what you have. They crave that certainty, that power, that level of presence. They see something in you that they are still searching for in themselves. And that is why they are at war inside. Because part of them wants to run toward you with everything they have. Part of them wants to break down every wall, every excuse, every reason they've told themselves about why they shouldn't take that step. But then there's that other part. The part that hesitates, the part that wonders if they are ready, the part that tells them to wait, to overthink, to sit in their own confusion instead of taking action. And this is where your strength comes in, because you do not wait. You do not sit around hoping they will wake up one day and finally choose what has been in front of them all along. You do not hold back your light just because someone else is afraid to step out of the shadows. You move forward, you continue to grow, to evolve, to expand. And in doing so, you create even more pull, even more magnetism, even more of a reason for them to feel that battle inside. Because here's the truth. When you chase, you lose power. When you wait, you lose momentum. When you beg for clarity from someone who already knows the answer, you give away your energy. And you are too powerful for that. You are too certain, too rare, too valuable to ever place your life on hold for someone who is stuck in their own mind. And what happens when you keep moving forward? What happens when you step even deeper into your power instead of waiting for them to step into theirs? The thoughts of you intensify. The pull toward you grows stronger. The battle inside them becomes unbearable, because now they are not just thinking about you, they are watching you rise. They are watching you shine. They are watching you step into an even greater version of yourself. And with every step you take, they feel the distance growing. And that's when they have a choice: stay stuck in hesitation, or take the leap, live in fear, or step into the truth. Stay in their comfort zone or step into something extraordinary. But again, that choice is theirs, not yours. You do not convince someone to see what is already obvious. You do not need to prove your worth to someone who already knows it. You do not force anyone to be ready for something they should have already run toward with everything they have. You simply become more of yourself. And that is what makes them unable to stop thinking about you. Because you are not just another person in their life. You are not just another option, another experience, another fleeting moment. You are the moment. You are the person who disrupted their reality, who made them feel things they weren't ready to feel, who woke them up in ways they didn't even realize they needed. And whether they act on it or not, whether they break free from their own hesitation or let fear win, that's on them. But you keep going. You keep rising. You keep stepping into your own greatness, knowing that your presence alone is enough to change lives. And that is why they can't stop thinking about you. When someone can't stop thinking about you, it's not just about attraction. It's not just about admiration. It's about impact. It's about the fact that whether they expected it or not, whether they were ready for it or not, you changed them. You left something inside them that they can't shake, no matter how hard they try. And that is the ultimate power. That is what makes someone unforgettable. That is what makes someone irreplaceable. Because here's the truth. Most people live their lives without ever truly being seen. They move through the world wearing masks, playing roles, showing up in ways they think they're supposed to instead of who they actually are. They stay in shallow conversations, surface level interactions, relationships that don't challenge them, experiences that don't push them to grow. They surround themselves with people who make them feel comfortable, who validate their stories, who allow them to stay exactly as they are. But then you show up. And you don't just see them, you see through them. You don't just acknowledge their presence, you acknowledge their potential. You don't just interact with them, you affect them. And when someone has spent their whole life avoiding depth, avoiding truth, avoiding the parts of themselves they've been too afraid to face, that level of presence, that level of awareness, that level of energy, it's unavoidable. It sticks with them. It follows them. It becomes a part of them. And that's why they can't stop thinking about you. Because you were never just another person passing through their life. You were never just another conversation, another experience, another moment. You were a catalyst. You were a turning point. You were the person who held up a mirror and forced them to see themselves in a way they never had before. Because whether you realize it or not, your energy is transformative. Your presence is a disruption to the status quo, and not everyone is ready for that. Not everyone knows how to handle it. Some people will lean in. They'll recognize the power of what they've encountered. They'll embrace the shift. They'll rise to meet you at your level. But others will resist. Others will run. Others will try to convince themselves that it was nothing, that it didn't matter, that it's possible to move on. But moving on from something ordinary is easy. Moving on from something extraordinary, that's a whole different story. Because when you've experienced truth, you can't go back to lies. When you've encountered depth, you can't go back to surface level interactions. When you've felt real, undeniable connection, you can't go back to relationships that are built on pretense and convenience. And whether they want to admit it or not, that's what they're struggling with. They've seen what's possible. They've felt what's possible. And now nothing else compares. So they think about you over and over. They replay conversations. They relive moments. They wonder why they can't shake you, why they can't just move on like they have in the past, why your presence still lingers in their mind when they least expect it. And deep down, they know the answer. Deep down, they understand that it's not about you. It's about what you represent. You are the turning point. You are the wake-up call. You are the person who shattered their illusions, who made them question everything they thought they knew about themselves, about love, about life. And once that door has been opened, it never closes. That's why they compare everyone else to you. That's why no one else seems to measure up. That's why no matter where they go or who they meet, there's a piece of them that still belongs to you, because your presence wasn't just about who you are. It was about what you activated inside them. You challenged them. You made them feel alive. You disrupted their reality. And that kind of impact, that kind of intensity, it lasts. And here's the most important part. You didn't try to do this. You didn't force it. You didn't manipulate. You didn't beg for attention or chase them or try to prove your worth. You simply showed up as yourself. You simply embodied your own power. You simply lived in your truth. And by doing that, you shifted something inside of them that they weren't ready to face. That's the ultimate pull. That's the ultimate magnetism. That's why they can't let go. Because when someone has been touched by authenticity, everything else feels empty in comparison. And now they have a choice. They can step into that truth. They can own what they feel. They can stop running. They can face what has been awakened inside them, or they can try to ignore it. They can try to convince themselves that you were just another experience, that the connection didn't matter, that they can go back to life as usual. But here's what you already know. There is no going back. There is no pretending this didn't happen. There is no replacing what they felt in your presence. They can try. Oh, they can try. They can distract themselves. They can bury themselves in other people, in other experiences, in distractions, in work, in whatever they think will fill the space that you left. But the truth, it doesn't go away. The impact, it doesn't fade. The presence of someone who changed you to your core, it lingers. It remains. It stays. And that's what they're dealing with. That's what keeps them up at night. That's what makes their thoughts circle back to you again and again, even when they don't want them to. Because what you left inside them isn't just a memory. It's a shift. It's a before and after moment in their life. It's something that can't be replaced, something that can't be undone, something that changed them forever. And that is why they can't stop thinking about you. You need to understand this. Your power isn't in waiting. Your power isn't in hoping that someone will wake up and finally recognize what has been in front of them all along. Your power isn't in chasing, convincing, or proving anything to anyone. Your power is in being fully yourself. Being fully in your truth, being fully in your energy, your essence, your greatness. Because when someone can't stop thinking about you, it's not because of something you did. It's not because of something you forced. It's because you left an imprint on their soul. You became a force in their life that they weren't ready for, and yet they crave it more than anything. But their battle, their hesitation, their fears, that is theirs to deal with. That is theirs to face. And you cannot put your life on pause waiting for them to catch up. You cannot shrink yourself so that they feel safe. You cannot dim your light just so they don't have to squint to see it. Because the truth is this. If they are meant to rise, if they are meant to step into their power, if they are meant to meet you at your level, they will. And if they don't, if they choose their fear over their truth, that is not a reflection of your worth. That is not a reflection of your value. That is a reflection of where they are on their own journey. But you keep rising. You keep moving forward. You keep stepping into your greatness. Because at the end of the day, the person who truly deserves you is the person who isn't just thinking about you. They are the person who is choosing you every single time